Hi all, welcome to the video lecture series of object-oriented programming. In this video lecture, we'll be discussing about final variables and inner classes. First of all, we will see what is the meaning of the keyword final, or what's the meaning of final variables. Final variables are like constants, like we use the keyword const in C programming. If we want to declare a variable as constant, we have to use the keyword final. So final keyword is used for three purposes. One is to stop the value change. That means once we have declared a variable as final, its value cannot be changed. That means it becomes a constant. We know how a constant variable, if you try to change the value of a constant variable, what happens in C programming? It will show an error, right? Similarly, in Java, if we want to create a variable as a constant variable, we have to use the keyword final. And once we have declared a variable as final, and if we try to change the value of that variable anywhere else in the program, it will lead to an error. The second usage of final keyword is to stop method overriding. Method overloading we have discussed. Method overriding means if we have two classes, if they are parent and child, and if there exist methods with same name in both parent and class, that is known as method overriding. So if you want to prevent that situation, we can declare any one of them as final. So if you are declaring a method as final, we can prevent method overriding. We will see what is method overriding in detail after we discuss inheritance. But keep in mind, we can stop method overriding by using final keyword, and also we can stop inheritance by using final. If we don't want any of our variables or methods to be inherited by any of the subclasses or child classes, we can declare those methods or variables as final in our parent class. In other words, those variables and methods which are declared as final cannot be inherited by the child classes. In this example, you can see we have declared a variable of type integer. The variable name is speed limit. Its value is 90 and we have declared it as final. Okay, and we are trying to change the value of that variable inside the method named run. So when we execute this program, this line will lead to an error because we are trying to change the value of a variable which is declared by using the keyword final. So here this variable acts as a constant, so we cannot change. Now what are inner classes? We know what is nested if, nested for loop, etc. That is a for loop coming inside another for loop is known as a nested for loop. Similarly, an if statement coming inside another if statement is known as a nested if statement. So if we can write a class inside another class, or a class inside an interface, we have not discussed interface so far, but we have to study that topic. So if we can write a class inside interface, all the classes that we write inside a class are known as inner classes. It's like nested class, we can also say like that. A class coming inside another class, that is known as nested class. So why we want to write like that? Why we want to write a class inside another class? It is for logically grouping the classes and interfaces. That means if we do like that, the program becomes more readable and maintainable. Suppose two classes are related to each other. If we can, so in that case we will be writing one class within the other one. So both classes are situated together in the same file. So we don't have to go in search for the other class. It's not compulsory that we have to use inner classes every time, but it is possible to write one class inside another class. That situation is known as, or that property is known as inner class. You can see the syntax of here. We have one outer class here. Inside this pair of curly brackets of this outer class, we are creating another class that is known as the inner class. So when we do like this inner class can access all the variables and methods of outer class also. So why we have to use inner class? There are three main advantages. One is it's a special kind of relation between the outer class and inner class. When we do like that, the inner class can make use of the variables and other members, okay, of the outer class. The second advantage is we can make our program more readable and maintainable, because we are actually grouping the related classes together into a single file. Okay, and it also acts as a code optimization, because we don't have to create separate files. It requires only less space or less code to write. Okay, we have to write only a few number of lines of code. So these are the advantage of inner class. That's all in this video. So we have discussed about the final variables as well as inner classes. Thank you so much.